Yo, so I just had a epiphany, right quick before I go to my class or whatever. And I think that we are about to head into a one credit score and one credit bureau type of situation in the United States. Here's why. Every month I'll apply for credit cards, loans, car loans, whatever, just to see what these banks say and then bring y'all the data points, right? So I pick a different bank, maybe like 2 or 3, maybe 4, depending on, which banks I find, just to see what they're looking for. So recently what I found is that these institutions are, they're looking at Experian. They're moving from TransUnion, they're moving from Equifax and going straight to Experian. Now there's several reasons why. Number one, Experian has a direct connection with the SSA, Social Security Administration. So they're able to better, I guess, fight fraud and identify people using Experian. The second thing is Equifax and TransUnion have data breach issues, and they also have issues with correcting people's credit reports. A lot of people's credit reports are incorrect on TransUnion and Equifax. So that's just one of the things, right? So I see TransUnion and Equifax becoming kind of like an Innovis, where they're just a data furnisher. They're not really a credit bureau, because it's a lot of these banks that are moving to that. I didn't even know it until I started applying. I'm like, damn, last time I applied with y'all, I went up to my credit report for like inquiries from like a year ago, 2 years ago, and some of these things they were using, TransUnion or Equifax, or they switched back and forth, but now they're just hitting the Experian over and over. So I'm seeing that, and I'm like, pretty soon we're going to be a one credit bureau, one credit score type of system. And, everything is going to go through just Experian. And it may even become, like the type of situation where it becomes government owned, where it's no longer, these private entities. It may just, go directly to the federal government, where, credit checks and the furnishing and, everything goes through Experian. Like even the federal government uses Experian. You know what I mean? Because they're connected to the SSA. So like if you apply for an SBA loan, guess what they do? They hit your Experian. They don't even pay attention to TransUnion and Equifax, for those federal government backed loans. So that's why I see where we're headed. So anybody that has blemishes on their Experian, you better, get it fixed, because if the federal government ends up taking that, and using just Experian or becoming a public entity, it's going to be hard, right? Because anybody that's ever tried to fix their credit using like what's the name of that government organization? Sorry, I can't think of it right now. Somebody put it in the CFPB. It's almost impossible. Like the CFPB is one of the most trash organizations ever. It's all automated. It really doesn't work. Okay, there are other ways to fix your credit, but once the government gets involved and it becomes public like that, it is a lot harder to fix, incorrect and blemishes on your credit report. So I'm interested in knowing what y'all think. There's something that I see in the landscape, and, there's nothing you can really do about it, right? There are some institutions that check both. They look at Experian and maybe like TransUnion just to like double check, but like Amex, right? They'll look at both. But for the most part, a lot of these institutions, like 90% of them, have moved to Experian. And we may end up becoming I think they call it a social credit system, where it's only just one bureau, one score. So I think that's where we're headed. I think that's what we'll end up landing, where Experian will be the number one. TransUnion and Equifax will end up being data furnishers, kind of like Innovis and some of these other third-party, non-known credit bureaus. But I'm interested in knowing what y'all think and what's been your experience. But over here on the East Coast, most of these banks have moved to Experian.